says it's trying to get the Zoom to work.
Do you help? Not that
Not sure yet.
Recording in progress.
Okay, I think I got it.
Hello.
Hi, Lindsay.
Hi.
Hold on. We're still getting the tech stuff set up here. I'm gonna put the TVs on.
Sounds great. How's my volume? Am I yelling at you?
Well, right now you're only coming through in the podium, so I'm trying to fix that. Give me just a second and find the audio settings.
I can hear you loud and clear.
Okay. I think everyone can hear you now. You're
Awesome. Am I yelling or am I a good
No.
volume?
Actually, you're good volume. Can you hear us?
I can hear you great.
Okay.
And I see Keith is on digitally as well. Is that right?
He's actually here in person, but he signed in digitally just to make sure if like the Zoom was working.
Oh, awesome. Appreciate that.
Yeah, so he signed in via his tablet just to make sure we got that up and running.
Awesome. Thank you for turning all that on for me. Sorry for the unorthodox meeting, but it's kind of something that snuck up on me, but I don't have any other conflicts in the foreseeable future. So this should just be a one-time awkward thing. So thank you very much, Molly.
No problem. Did I set my papers down somewhere? Keith, did I bring papers in with me?
You notice. Probably not.
I had printed the agenda. Give me a second. Let me run out to my car because I might have left it out in my car.
Sounds great.
We're a little. Nobody would get about it. It's probably sitting right in the car. So. Okay, yes, of course it was. You guys want to come sit up here since it seems like it's probably going to be just the four of us? Sure. Plus Lindsay.
It's fun because I can see you, so it's like I'm there. So this is
Yeah.
I can turn this one on. So. I'm not on.
We're not that formal.
yeah, like
yeah, please sit in the comfortable chairs.
We're this structure of this committee is a little different because and Lindsay, you can probably explain this better, but we're going to look to assign a chair and a vice chair, and those two people will have like access to like edit the website and use the constant contact account and use the social media accounts as sort of like official appointed positions. Everyone else is just going to be volunteer based, not officially appointed. So that's my understanding anyway. Lindsay, I'll let you take it over from here, and then when you have to hop off, I'll continue.
Yeah, absolutely. Thanks, Molly. So I've got an agenda that I sent to our volunteer group, and I'm going to get started on that, and then I will have to hop off, unfortunately, but Molly has graciously agreed to take over the agenda from there. So just kind of the formalities here. We're going to call this to order, our communications committee meeting. And can everybody identify who's present? Whoever wants to go.
Keith Campbell from VCA.
Molly Snodgrass, volunteer.
Darlene McGold, volunteer.
Hi, Darlene.
Hi.
And then, I guess I'm digitally present for us volunteers, Lindsay Kuhn. And then if anybody like to identify themselves that's on the Zoom meeting or just attending to listen.
That's you.
This is Tom Need. I'm sitting here just listening.
Thank you. Alrighty, so on our agenda, I've got a recap of some items from our July meeting. And then after that, kind of our next steps. Usually these meetings last about an hour. Molly, if you want to make the call, if you kind of run out of time and we can push things to the next meeting, obviously that's totally fine. So I'll go ahead and start from our items from the July meeting, starting with the status of the township email system overhaul that we discussed at our last meeting and was being presented our kind of recommendations to the trustees. So that was added to the trustee meeting agenda in July, and the trustees approved the fee for our IT consultant to begin this overhaul. Now, what is not yet approved, and I've got some information from trustee Adam Holiday as well. He gave me an update. He was not able to attend this communications meeting, but he sent me an email update to share with the group that the departments that are getting each email, that has not been decided yet, nor has all the different individuals who are getting an email. He said he's still collecting from each department how many people need an email. And once that is done, then that will be completed. So if you remember which departments might need department emails, and then we had suggested that all officially appointed positions would need individual emails. So that's where it's kind of tricky because different committees have different officially appointed positions. And of course, there's certainly just some concerns from people who want to make sure that communication is able to be shared easily, but without compromising people's personal email addresses. Since this is the county government, everything needs to be subject to sunshine laws and everything like that. So the small logistics of this is not fully fleshed out, but the project was approved by the trustees and our IT consultant is starting to work on it. So do we have any questions about that? Anybody need to add anything?
I'll make one comment. The zoning commission and the BCA, we do our minutes by email. And so when the minutes get done by the administrative secretary, she emails them to all of us. We review them, and then if we need any changes, we'll bring us to the meeting. That kind of helps our meetings along, not have to sit there and read all the minutes because especially if we have a hearing, there may be 8 or 10 pages of minutes. So we've been doing that lately, which has worked out really well. So everyone would have to have an email to get the minutes ahead of the meeting. So
and I don't think that's a problem for the Board of Zoning Appeals since all 5 members are appointed. Correct? Do you know?
Correct.
I think they're all appointed.
Yeah.
So in that instance, you would all have the township emails.
Just make sure they understand that.
Yep.
That's
Yeah.
And then zoning commission,
like zoning commission as well. All 5 of the members plus any alternates are all appointed, so they'd be able to have like an email and have that official communication channel.
The zoning commission, they're numbered. So, if somebody leaves, you can reassign the number to somebody else.
Yeah, and I think that was kind of like all discussed in depth at the last month's meeting. Essentially, the gist of this project is just to kind of like overhaul the like Microsoft Exchange system and kind of bring it up to like modern standards. I guess there are newer ways of doing things and structuring things that can accomplish kind of the same thing as what you're doing now, but in a more like sustainable way or a more
well, I think what also one of the concerns was is that the emails that we had don't have the ability to be recorded or stay saved on the server.
Yeah.
And the new email for all of those committees need to be saved on the servers for the public records.
Yeah, and that's
exactly it.
That was one of the main benefits of kind of overhauling this, is getting some of the ones that are not currently being backed up into that space of being backed up.
Who is the IT consultant that you're working with? Is it?
It's the same. It's their normal township IT support guy. What's his name? Carol.
Yeah.
His first name's Carol.
Well, I don't know what his last name is, but I want to Carol.
Everyone just calls him Carol, so I don't know.
Yeah. Yep, and that's exactly right. So part of the project is moving over existing emails that are in the old system into like a new, cleaner, modern Outlook system so they can be properly backed up for all Sunshine Law needs. And then in addition, was hoping to add some interdepartmental email addresses. That way there was emails that could be like official Townsend communication from those email addresses. And really just also for ease of emailing as well. So internally, if somebody needs to email the zoning department, there's like a zoning email that everybody, you can send it to one email, everybody involved can get that. So that was kind of the background to that whole thing. And it did have a fee, so that's why it had to be approved by the trustees. And they were originally kind of asking us for some recommendations as the communications committee as to what kind of other departments do we think may need emails, and how should we structure the individuals that may need to have emails. So it sounds like that's still in the works, but it's not finished yet. Doesn't really affect like our next steps or anything. I think we just something to keep tabs on to understand. So I guess anybody in the room, anybody else listening, if you are in charge of a department or involved in a department or a committee, if you could please email Adam Holiday and let him know how many of your committee members are officially appointed and would need township email addresses, that would help him get that final number to our IT consultant to keep the project moving. Alrighty, so any other comments before we move on to the next item here?
Nope.
Alrighty, so the next thing is actually now outbound communications to township residents. We put together options for email softwares to present to the trustees and their cost to kind of modernize our outbound communications to all the township residents. There was different ones suggested: MailChimp, Email Octopus, Constant Contact, and ultimately we had recommended to the trustees at the last meeting that we would like to adopt and pay for a monthly fee for Constant Contact. The benefits of which, if anybody didn't hear about that, are that residents will be able to subscribe and unsubscribe themselves to different communications. So it won't have to be kept manually, which is a lot of work. There can be nice attractive templates that can be saved, and emails can be scheduled, lots of different benefits to using one of these email softwares. And the thought is that once these department emails get created, that there would be a communications@harlemtownship.com, and those Constant Contact emails would come from communications@harlemtownship.com. So that would indicate to all residents that this is an official township communication. That was approved by the trustees. There was we looked up what the monthly fee is, and then we looked up there you get like a 15 to 20% discount if you prepay for the year. So that email has been, or excuse me, that account through Constant Contact has been created using a Harlem Township email address. The current one that we have is admin@harlemtownship.com, since communications doesn't exist yet, but it doesn't appear that it's a big deal to change it once we get the correct email. And now it is in the fiscal officer's hands, Lisa Hersey, of getting that paid. So right now we're on like a 30-day free trial. And I have a note here that, to my knowledge, just because it's a free trial, it doesn't mean that we can't start using it, which is kind of in the next steps section. The next items for discussion is if we'd like to start using it. But the good news is we've got it. It was approved. And I think now it's in our hands to come up with suggestions for what is our plan. How many emails are we going to send out a month? How are we going to start gathering fun? Is it fun things happening around town, or is it just township meetings? Is it twice a month, once a month, that kind of thing? So anybody have any other questions or comments about our outbound communication project?
No questions, just a comment. I think this is great. I think this will be really helpful to kind of establish and improve upon communications to residents. And yeah, I'm really excited about this. Lindsay, I'll probably have to set up some time with you or whoever is going to have the access to this admin account for Constant Contact, so we can upload our existing like email database that's in Excel. I think there's like an import feature, if I remember right. Yep. So
yep,
we'll probably just need to kind of schedule a working session and get what we currently have on our Excel list, all imported and set up. And then the kind of one thing I might suggest is that we maybe draft and send like a one final email out, kind of like the old way, using like that.
Yeah.
It still exists, the SPC account, because that's what people have seen emails from in the past, and they probably have it in their context so it doesn't go to spam or whatever. But maybe just send out one final email to all of our people on our list saying, hey, we've adopted a new system. Here's what to look for. Here's what to expect. And we've added all your email to this list, so there's no action required from you at the moment, unless you'd want to change your subscription, in which case, click this link or whatever.
Yeah, I think that's a great idea.
Lindsay, this is Tom. One small question.
Yeah.
The township right now uses at harlemtwp.com.
Mm-hmm.
Continue to use or actually Harlem Township?
Oh, yes. Thank you for asking that. It's still harlemtwp.com. I'm kind of just paraphrasing it there, but it will be at harlemtwp.com.
Thanks.
Mm-hmm. No problem. Alrighty, so that's just kind of an update, and then we can talk about next steps here in a minute or so. So items C and D on our recap part of our agenda are kind of go along with each other. So as Molly alluded to in the beginning of the meeting, is that we were asked to name a chair and a vice chair of the communications committee meeting to kind of legitimize it as a group in the eyes of the township, and then that way there can be a channel for like official township communication to go to our committee. And I appreciate everybody's vote of confidence. I'm happy to be chair of the committee, and right now we don't have anybody that has the bandwidth necessarily for this vice chair position, since we are volunteer based. However, Adam let me know that it would be okay if we just continue with the chair and then just naming like an alternate in case of emergencies. And Molly, sorry, I'm putting you on the spot. You're still okay for it to be the alternate in this situation?
Yeah, I'm totally okay with that. I think once we kind of get access again, or can work with the new admin assistant to like maybe post something on social media or put something out in our email, like one of our first emails, like, hey, the communications committee is looking for additional volunteers, specifically a vice chair, and here's what you would get to do. Someone who would be help with the website, help with social media. So hopefully we can find another volunteer who has that interest and has a good background that has the bandwidth to help in that capacity.
Yeah, for sure. And the next steps on that would be to just emailing for the next trustee meeting agenda, which I'm happy to take care of, just letting them know that we've named these two, then an alternate and a chair. That way they can agree on it at their meeting, and then we'll be kind of ratified in that way. And then that leads us to part D, which is those township social media pages and website updates. At our last meeting, we had talked about how if we had official township communications through a chair and a vice chair, that could maybe give us the opportunity to take some work off of the township administrator's plate of actually doing some of those social media postings, actually making updates and adding things to the website for township communications related purposes. And Adam let me know in his update that he's still completely for that plan. And so if we can just get this step approved, then we can talk about the next steps with that, and maybe getting communication with the township administrator and getting access and things like that. Does anybody have any questions? What'd you say, Darlene?
Oh, is it a clarification? I think the person they hired, is it an administrative assistant? Is that the official position?
I'm actually not fully in the know about that. I was actually just recently introduced to somebody named Ashley, who was helping me out with clicking a verification link for that admin email. So I might be misspeaking in terms of like the title. Has anybody else heard any updates about that? Otherwise, I can just ask Adam what the details are.
I got an email from Ashley yesterday or today, I forget what day it was, wanting to have give me the deadline for any agenda items for the trustees meeting. So I was gonna look at my email, see
The
what that,
last I heard, they were hiring for an administrative assistant role.
I think it'd be a big deal.
Okay.
Chief administrator.
Yeah, I mean, it's a minor
It's clear.
title difference, but like
Mhm.
administrator versus administrative
I don't
assistant
know what it
is
said
kind
on there.
of different.
looking.
So I do think it's an administrative.
Okay. Great. So whichever that role was filled, that I think that would just be our person to cross-reference with and get access to those channels. Hopefully they've got the notes left over that Kendra would have passed along, so we can work with that new person. I think her name's Ashley, and get access to those items that we can hopefully start contributing to township communications in those other capacities as well.
Okay. So we can hopefully get clarification from the trustees on exactly what the position is that they hired. I believe it's an administrative assistant role.
Mhm.
But yes, I
And
agree. That person, Ashley, he had you had her last name, Zaruba.
Yeah.
Zoruba.
Yeah.
So hopefully we all get a chance to meet her. I think maybe what we should do is just invite her to our next communication meeting.
That's a great idea.
You know, I almost said October. In September. I'm skipping months here.
I got to talk to her about, I mean, it's BZA meeting anyway, so I'll probably come over and introduce myself this week anyway. So
Yeah, I mean, that's fine. It's
you know.
anyone's more than welcome to introduce before then, but I think it
But
would be.
I have not, I mean, I just got the email and I just haven't had a chance to come over and.
I think we should at least extend the invite for her to come next month, if she's available, because I do think this committee will be working closely with her in that role. So
Absolutely. That's a great idea. Looking forward to meeting her. And once the trustees kind of check those boxes, then we'll hopefully be able to be like full speed ahead on that, with in terms of getting the website updates that we'd like to. And not to get into the weeds on it here, but we had talked about, well, we have 2 Harlem Township government pages. We could clean that up. So there's some projects we could do immediately once we meet with Ashley and get the access that we need. So excited for that.
yeah, I think that's all really good things, and I agree.
Alrighty, unless anybody has any other comments, I'm gonna do our last recap item here, and then probably looking at the time, I'm gonna jump off and let everybody start putting their heads together for the next items for discussions. At the last meeting, it was brought to our attention that the Harlem Township Forum might be interested in collaborating with the Communications Committee on possibly some sort of public event where residents can meet the new trustees, participate in some sort of resident discussions. But the last we heard, the forum was actually meeting on the same night the communications committee meets. And I was curious, does anybody know what the status of that was? I don't personally have a contact on the forum, but if anybody does, I'm happy to reach out to them.
I go to those. Oh, well, no. I'm not on that one. I'm thinking the Heritage Group. Never mind.
Yeah, this is the Harlem Township Forum. There's a group of residents. It's not like through the township or anything. It's kind of like a resident run discussion on the kind of future of the township. And they're actually meeting on the exact date and time that we met last time. So anybody know anybody on that?
Yeah, I do.
I know Roger Lieberger, whose church I'm meeting at, is he used to be on the BZA, so I've known him for quite a while. I don't normally communicate with him very often. Then I think Bob Singer's on there also, and I think Jerry Paul is. I mean, I know those 3 guys, dealt with them for years. So, but I don't communicate with them weekly or nothing like that. So I don't know.
I think somewhere it may be on one of the social media pages, someone posted who the members are. And I think names you mentioned are people who are on it, but I don't think any of us has heard any update from anyone on that.
I'm happy to follow up if you want me to with Bob.
I tried to follow them.
That'd be great.
Facebook or stuff. It hasn't happened.
I don't know where to look. Yeah.
Yeah, I think the camera's up there.
Oh, okay. I can follow up with Bob.
All right, great. Darlene volunteered to follow up and find out if the forum did indeed have that discussion and if there's any update there.
Okay.
Thanks, Darlene. And I think probably what would be a great next step as well is that once we officially have a chair, I can reach out as well and kind of introduce myself and to say, here's our line of communication. If you guys are interested in working together on something, I could do that as well.
That sounds like a good idea.
Alrighty, so that's kind of our recap. And then the last part of the meeting here, I had hoped that we could discuss, let's see here, two main things. So the first would be the newsletter that we said we would send out this fall, targeting an late September, early October date. I would love it if we could start thinking about the different sections that's needed in the newsletter and start putting together a contact list of who we'll be reaching out to / who wants to volunteer to take a section, kind of a thing. And if that isn't all established in this meeting, that's totally fine. I think we can make it a goal then to finalize it by September, our September meeting, since our meeting is pretty early in September. And then lastly, for kind of the newsletter and our new constant contact account, it would be nice to know if we could maybe add a sign up, like an email list sign up to the website before the newsletter. That would be great to know. That way we could promote in the newsletter that you can now subscribe yourself to Township Communications on the website. That would be nice. And then lastly, for this new constant contact account, does anybody have any thoughts about what this new structure would look like? Like every other week, event recaps, once a month event, here's what's coming ahead, that kind of discussion on the new outbound communication, in addition to what the next newsletter will look like. Does that sound like a good plan to everybody? Am I missing anything important, glaringly important, that we should be discussing?
No, I think that sounds good. As far as a discussion of next steps, one idea, like maybe I can maybe take this as a follow-up, is maybe reaching out to some of like our nearby townships who use these kind of services and find out like what do they send out on any, on any regular basis, and find out if that's like well received by their residents, just to kind of get ideas for how we might want to structure ours. Because we have a couple of like similar sized or demographic townships around us, and I think I was doing some research, and a couple of ones that are even smaller than us, actually, like Kingston Township actually uses like MailChimp and sends like, has like an email program, and they're only like 1,600 residents or something. So,
oh, that's awesome. Yeah.
So I might take that as an action to just kind of reach out to a couple of neighboring townships and or municipalities, and find out like how often they send emails to their residents and how they have that structured, just to kind of get ideas for what we might want to set up here.
Do you need contact info like for Genoa and all that, or do you need them?
I can look them up.
Okay. I know. I talk to her on a regular basis.
Oh, you do? Okay.
Yeah.
Well, what's her name?
I'll just email it to you.
Yeah, just send it to me.
Yep. Okay. She's really nice.
That's great. And in this agenda, I wrote down all the sections that were in the last newsletter. By all means, if you guys talk and there's going to be no update from this and no update from that, we can just cross them off. We don't have to include every section, but and then I think it's worth exploring some creative ideas. Obviously, we'll have to run it through the trustees if they're looking for this to be kind of like a more comprehensive, here's what's going on in the township versus here's what's just going on governmentally. But I think it's worth coming up with some creative ideas. Like,
Lindsay,
are you there?
Your audio cut out.
She's like, I'm out.
I was went too long.
I was thinking about highlighting, instead of maybe the resident township, of highlighting the Heritage Festival, maybe documenting that as an article, or no? Are we not? Is that too crossing the lines?
You mean the one that's scheduled for August 17th?
Yeah.
Just doing like a recap?
Yeah. Instead of maybe an interview, or I don't know.
Yeah, I guess it depends on like how big and how successful that event is. I know some years it seems like it's bigger than others. So I'm planning to hopefully attend with my family, and I'm sure some of the rest of us are as well. So if we...
She's gone.
Okay, yeah, she probably just figured the audio wasn't working, so she had to go anyway.
Run down these. I didn't mean to. I was just thinking if she thought of something different. That was what I was thinking of.
All right, so I'll take over from here. We'll cover this kind of section A, ideas for the next newsletter. I think her timeline that she outlined makes sense. Trying to get one sent out like early October is kind of like what it looks like she's targeting. So that gives us this month and the early part of next month to get a newsletter pulled together. Because then it always seems like there's like a couple of weeks to you know, get the quote from the printer and get the payment to the printer approved and all that. So we want to
Hey
build it.
guys.
Oh, hey Lindsay.
Oh, hey, I'm sorry. I got kicked out of Zoom. It just said like disconnected. That's my bad. Did it like, did you guys hear me saying that I was gonna have to jump off soon?
No, your audio had cut out briefly before that. So then once your audio never came back and you left, we just kind of figured you had to take off anyway. So
Sorry, did not mean to do that abruptly. I was just literally, when my audio cut off, I was like, well, anyways, I gotta go. Thank you guys so much. So appreciate you continuing on. Sorry that I got cut off. Hope everybody has a really great night.
thanks.
Bye.
You too, Lindsay. See you next
All
month.
right, bye-bye. All right, bye.
Sure, we'll email between now and then, but all right. So yeah, the timeline I think that she lined out seems good. So we'll try to finalize a newsletter by like early September, mid-September, so that the trustees can approve it, hopefully at their September meeting. I don't think they need to approve it at a meeting. I think they could just do it via email. And then, like I said, work with the printer to get a quote for printing it and get Lisa to issue the payment for such. And that takes a couple of weeks from my experience. With the target of getting it out sometime early October.
I think that you're right. Their regular meeting would be the third Wednesday of September. It's
Okay,
trustees' regular meeting, so
that would be when Lisa would need to
have everything ready.
Yeah, we should have everything ready by then so that Lisa can get the payment for the newsletter approved. So that's our target date. As far as the topics that she has here for like everything that was in the previous newsletter, going through these, administrative update. I mean, I'd love if one of the trustees would write something instead, because the administrative assistant's going to be so new, she won't probably have an update. So
Yeah, that's
maybe this could be like a note from trustees instead.
That's what Genoa does.
Yeah.
The Harlem, Delaware County and Harlem road guides. I don't think that's seasonal kind of thing.
Yeah, I don't think
they have that agenda, and then they do the work all summer. Then it'd be the next year if they approve anything new, probably.
Yeah, I was gonna say I don't think there'd be any update there either, because I think that road guide seemed like it was like for a whole like an annual thing. So we could probably cut that. BZA update, I think generally all that was like, here's the number of. I think we don't need another BZA update.
I can do whatever you want. I'm not very good at that, but I can do whatever you want.
Yeah, I just unless
I mean, the BZA is a little bit different than the other because we only have hearings whenever someone
right.
comes.
It's like as
like
needed.
we just had, we've had like 4 this whole year. So it's not like we have one every month.
Yeah, that's why I kind of feel like there's probably not enough.
In fact, my agenda for this month is like meet, do the minutes, go home. Basically.
Nice. So yeah, so I think there's probably not another BZA update from last quarter.
I know one of the requests from the citizens at the meeting was to do, I think I mentioned this last time, to do like a zoning 101 kind of explaining some of the things that have been, I know, the meetings have been public and things like that, but more of like just a very broad definition of what zoning is, like the overlays and things like that have been happening.
Okay.
Louis volunteered to do that. If we're okay with that, he can bring it to the group. But he said he could help just kind of put something together for the newsletter, just like an educational series.
I think that is great.
Okay,
so
cool.
That can almost go in place of like a zoning commission update, because I don't think there's been a lot zoning commission wise that's happened.
Okay.
Since
you guys done a lot lately?
What's that?
Zoning commission done much lately other than doing the overlays? That's about it, right?
I think you need an update.
There's been a lot of adjustments to the existing resolution.
Yeah, you're just making amendments or making updates to the existing resolution.
I mean, but there's both. There's the amendments to the AR and the FR districts, and also all the overlays.
Well, maybe that can be combined into like one kind of just zoning, like briefly mentioned. The zoning commission is continuing to work on updating and modernizing our existing zoning code and working on you know, the zoning overlay project. And oh, by the way, here's what all this means.
Yeah, I think that'd be
So,
helpful.
I think maybe just a very brief, you know, the zoning commission is continuing to do X, Y, and Z, and then kind of an either even lengthier kind of like expose from, you know, Louis on like, here's in very basic terms for people who have not been, you know, kind of brought up to speed on this, what that all means.
And maybe links to the actual resolution. Somebody really wants to get
Okay.
they've got
Point people to where to find it.
where the resolution.
That's
I mean,
a good
that's
idea.
strange because, you know, the resolution's on the BCA web page. And not the zoning commission webpage.
That's strange.
No, I think it's on the, I think it's probably just linked in multiple places.
I don't know. I mean, I know it's on my webpage.
Okay.
When
My guess is it's just linked in multiple places because it is on the zoning document center.
I like it like this. I can open up and see. I don't have to get my book out.
Community park, I mean, we can ask someone on the park committee, if anything's been done since last month, but probably not.
Well, they've been working on the pollinator garden that'll be put in September.
Oh,
They've been buying plants.
is that going in over at the township park then?
Yes.
Oh,
Well, then maybe we do include an update.
maybe a picture or something too.
Pollinator park.
I like that.
It's surrounding the flagpole.
Oh, okay. I mean, I guess everyone always likes the park, so
It's a nice
Yeah.
thing to highlight.
You know who the contact person is for the parks?
Dave Snyder.
What was that again?
Dave Snyder.
Dave Snyder? I don't know him. So I mean, I just didn't
He's
know.
Jody Manson's husband.
Mhm.
You know,
I do. Do you need me to reach out to him?
Yeah, I mean, yeah. But
Oh.
I have no idea who does what with the parks. So.
I'm on the Heritage Committee. That's how I got to know all these people.
Oh,
so.
makes sense.
Yeah, so I can reach out to him for an update.
Valeska is actually as active as Dave is.
Okay. So have them give an update on the pollinator. Okay, you can do that.
Maintenance department, I think it's just we ask them if there's anything new since 3 months ago, and if there is, we can add it. If there's not, we don't need it. If I remember right, their section was like really small. So
Okay.
I don't know. Was that new guy? They hired one person on regularly, but I think he was a temporary. Then they hired someone on. So
okay.
I at that right time. Or you don't even know.
Well, it's Jason Andrusis. He's running the department now.
Yeah, there's
Okay.
new guy running the department. Then they hired the one guy.
Maybe like an update on like employees.
I hadn't heard at the trustees meeting that they, you know, improved the hire.
I mean, maybe just in general, we probably ought to just have a big section with like new faces.
I agree.
Because we
I
have
like that.
2 new trustees,
Mhm.
a new administrative assistant. It sounds like at least 1 new person in maintenance.
Do we
and-
put together a questionnaire or something for them? Like answers silly questions? No, maybe not silly questions, but something that would guide them.
like
to
put it like a very brief bio in.
Yeah, but
okay.
then we probably have to guide them on that.
Yes, so that's a good idea.
I just don't know how to execute it.
Yeah, maybe I can- Maybe Lindsay will have some ideas.
Okay.
We can email her and just say, hey, with all these new faces, we want to have a pretty lengthy section to make sure we cover 2 new trustees, the new administrative assistant, whoever is new in maintenance, and anyone else that we're not aware of. So we got at least 4 people right there.
Yeah.
It sounds like, if not,
I know
like
the fire department had one too.
yeah, so maybe even 5.
I think that stuff is
And
just
then-
fun to read anyway.
Yeah, and then come up with like a couple of questions to pose to those people. Say, hey, can you like answer these in a really brief statement to include in the newsletter?
Okay.
So that is a good idea.
You're smart for printing. I have mine on my little phone.
Yeah, I did this literally right before I like ran out the door to get to this meeting. Zoning and development, I'm sure they will have an update. From Mike Cannon and Jim Steelsmith and everything they're working on. I know there's like a TIF district that'll probably be approved by the time this newsletter goes out. So they'll probably have some kind of a write-up on that. And even if it's not like the full, like every detail, at least kind of a high level what this means, and here is where you can go for more information. So I'm guessing we'll need to leave that in. Division of Fire, it sounds like they have maybe an employee update. Oh, you know what? I think there's going to be a levy on the ballot.
On our ballot?
I think there's going to be a fire levy on the ballot.
Oh,
I think so.
hold on, let me see. Keep going. I'll look.
Oh, is
Yes.
oh, someone said yes.
Oh, who is that?
I don't know.
Hi.
Who's Raznevs?
That's Bob Singer.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Oh, good. I need to
A
talk to him.
replacement levy.
Okay. So we might want to include something about that in our newsletter ahead of the election, the following month. So maybe we can get details from the chief or the trustees on what that levy is, what it means, what what the impact is financially, tax-wise.
Do you want to ask if that's Bob Singer? Let me know if you want to back up to that other agenda.
Asking
item.
about the what you call it?
Oh, the Harlem Forum thing?
The part of forum, yeah.
When you're done with this,
Oh, that's fine.
I just realized if that was him, might as well ask.
We already kind of discussed farmers markets as Harlem Township Heritage as like an update or like a recap of the Harlem Township days. The farmers market will be over by then. So recap of the township days from.
Yeah, I was thinking that, and then we need to start building momentum around these things with like the the farmers market and things like that, just because it's on a day that competes with New Albany, the regular farmers market, and then just getting more hype, I think, for this other festival that happens. So
Yeah,
start talking about it. And
Doesn't someone have trunk or treat thing?
oh yeah, there's usually a Halloween thing.
I don't know who
That's probably the Harlem Township Heritage, if I had to guess.
it.
So maybe a trunk or treat blip.
I remember that happened in the past. I don't know if they had something scheduled. We can find out.
So yeah, we can find out from the
I can
Heritage.
ask them too.
Yeah, we can find out from the Heritage group on, if they have a date identified for that, assuming they're doing it again, and then we can include that in the newsletter. That's a great idea.
I don't know why it just came to me, but
Yeah, I've taken my kids to that the past 2 years. I don't know why it didn't come to me.
I'm never gonna be out of town on vacation on Halloween, so I won't be there.
And they've done a winter in the park.
Yeah, the winter in the park too. It usually comes up to it.
Is that around Christmas time? Okay. Well,
Maybe I'll just ask them a list of
yeah,
events.
I was doing a list of events because that would be because our next newsletter after an October one probably wouldn't be until January.
Right. So
So
we can include that. I'll just see what they have.
Yeah. So we can recap the township days, mention trunk or treat, mention whatever else they have planned.
Okay. So I got that. I think I'm working a bouncy house if you want to stop by.
Good.
This newsletter gonna be 10 pages.
Oh, I know. I kind of feel like we still have a lot of content here. So, you know what? I don't want to like skimp on it though.
No, I think it'll be fun. I'm gonna include pictures too.
Yeah.
When it gets on a regular schedule, the content won't be as big because of the.
Yeah, that's true. And I think maybe especially once we get like regular email updates going out, some of this stuff can be in emails instead of in the regular instead of in the quarterly one.
I agree.
So some stuff, yeah, we'll have to kind of figure out like guidelines or balance on like, well, what do we include in the, bi-weekly email updates versus what do we include in our printed quarterly newsletter. Maybe the trustees can even weigh in on that. Like what's important enough to print to mail to every household versus what do we include in the email updates that go out only to people who subscribe to them.
Okay.
So that'll just have to be kind of something we figure out as we go, I think.
I agree.
And hopefully every time we send one of these printed ones out, we build our email list. So I think probably for the foreseeable future, we'll have to include some little blurb saying, here's how you can
Oh yeah,
subscribe
it's
to
definitely the digital.
our new platform. So for the most part, I think there's not a lot to cut so much. It's just kind of like, for the most part, keeping all these sections, maybe reassigning a couple of them, doing a trustee note instead of an administrative update. The only things that I think kind of probably won't have an update are BZA and that like Harlem Township Roads Guide. But otherwise, everything seems relevant still. So, all right. So then she has down here, write down names for who from each department or which committee volunteer will be taking care of each section.
We got that.
So did we get that?
Oh, kind of.
Okay.
I thought you were doing all of them.
I was making notes, but I wasn't. I was making notes, but I wasn't writing names.
Oh,
so I'll use a different. I got one of these multicolored.
I saw that. I actually used to have those.
I like these multi. Yeah, I fidget with them, which is probably not good. But I'll use a different color to write some names here. So trustee note. We can just reach out to Adam since he's our liaison, right, and then find out like, okay, which of the three of you feels like writing an update. So I can take that ask. I'll reach out to Adam. Okay, so then the next one, maintenance department, that would just be an email asking them, do you have an update? I'll assign that to Lindsay. Voluntelling her. It sounds like Louis volunteered for the zoning 101. So
do you want him to do anything else for a zoning commission update, or I figured he would just run it by everybody.
Yeah, I think you should.
Yeah. I was trying to take stuff off your plate and send it to you.
And just email it.
Okay.
And, that's what we do with minutes.
Yeah.
Oh, perfect. Okay. Yeah, I figured the group would want to kind of edit and or have a say. Yeah. Okay, cool.
All right, so Louis will take the lead on that. Community park, an update on the pollinator park.
I can reach out to Dave and Ed.
Okay, so Darlene will take that one. I think in lieu of interview of township resident or organization, that's where we would put new employee and new faces or whatever, right?
Sure.
So let me change my pen, go back to red. So township personnel. All right, so that'll be our like kind of new township personnel section. I'll maybe assign Lindsay to that one as well.
Yeah, I think that'd be good.
Just to kind of send out like, hey, we're gonna include this in the next newsletter. If you want to answer a few questions about yourself, we'll and then maybe get photos.
If you want anything about the BZA, just have someone just ask me, email me or something.
Okay.
I'll if we have something going on, I'll tell you. If we don't,
okay, that's easy enough.
If I'm the chairperson, I guess that'd be the best contact person.
So then zoning and development, that'll be Mike Cannon. I can reach out to him.
Mike and Jim.
So I ran into Jim the other day. So he mentioned how he'd want to get with the communications committee on it sounds like he probably has some stuff to put in a newsletter.
Okay. They're here.
Oh, they're here?
During the daytime most generally, so
okay.
They're here answering the phone.
Yeah. So I'll reach out to them and I'll get them to either provide an update or provide me the bulk of it and I can finesse. So then Division of Fire, that would be probably just honestly from the chief. So anyone feel like volunteering to just reach out to Chief O'Brien?
I put Lindsay on that one too.
Yeah, probably good.
Just like with all the
yeah. Oh, that's a good point. Lindsay is kind of like connecting with all the official departments. Okay. So Lindsay's doing a lot of reaching out to the other departments, which is good. fiscal report. I mean, that's
Just talk to Lisa, I
Yeah.
guess.
email to Lisa.
Does she post regularly stuff on the website?
They added a section to her like fiscal office part of the website where now it's like a document center and like documents can be uploaded. And I don't know if she's doing it monthly or quarterly, but she was like, yeah, I think I didn't, my phone's over there, so I can look it up later. But yeah, there's now a page on the website where like fiscal documents are being uploaded to provide
annual report.
Yeah, and I think it might even be monthly, or if not monthly, quarter, something like that. But to have better visibility and transparency with the township's fine, like all of it's public record, but I think with it not being on the website, people would have to like request it, right? But so by having that page where it's kind of being proactively uploaded to the website, it's, you know, more transparent. So
keeps her having to do public record requests.
Yeah. So we could just reach out to Lisa, find out if there is something new from 3 months ago, like how often do you have your reports?
If it's no more than just here's the website to check your reports, you know.
Exactly.
Make it easier.
Yeah, maybe that's all it is. Maybe it's, hey, we created a new page on our township website where fiscal records are posted, you know, check it out. And then Darlene, you were going to do the Harlem Township Heritage kind of events update.
Sure. And then I'll get all the events from them too.
Okay. And then I'll work with Lindsay on the last one there, which is that township email list request, because I'll have to work with her to get, once she has the access, I mean, I think it sounds like she already has the access to Constant Contact. So I'll just have to set up a working session with her, get the emails uploaded, and then create that like sign up page and make sure it gets added to the website. So
you guys can probably do that digitally too. I mean, you know, I don't know if you have to get together or you can do it like via Zoom.
Oh yeah. However, we need to do that. If it's just a matter of, okay, I send you the Excel file, you click the upload button. Like maybe it's
the best way.
Yeah, maybe it's super simple. Like I'm hoping it's super simple. So I could, okay, hey, we assigned names. Great job, everyone.
So yeah, if you want to backtrack it, if we're done with everything. Oh no, we're not. Sorry.
There's a 4th page.
I just scrolled down. Yeah.
She wrote a very, actually 3 pages. She wrote a very detailed agenda. So township email item number 4 here. So we kind of finished the newsletter discussion. Oh no, this is still on newsletter. Township email list sign up on township website through Constant Contact. Are we able to have access to the website and attempt to add a sign up form through Constant Contact over the next 60 days before the oh, this is just basically asking the question, between now and when we send the next newsletter, can we get Constant Contact added to the website? I would think the answer to that should be yes. So I'm just going to put a yes, and it might just be, okay, we need to work with the new administrative assistant to make that happen. Because I do think that's important. Like if we're going to be announcing, hey, we're now using Constant Contact, we need to be able to like allow people to sign up for it.
Plus it's so easy.
Yeah, I know. I'm excited about that. I really am. And then going back to potential dates. So August meeting, that's today. Begin all the list for the sections, which we just did.
September meeting, the 10th? Or
yeah, it would be the 2nd Tuesday in September. 10th. Okay. So then I can send an email to Lindsay with all these notes that I just took here.
Okay.
And then she can maybe send out the minutes from this whole meeting. Finalize all contacts and volunteers by September communication meeting. I mean, I think for the most part, we got most of it finalized. If anything changes between now and September, or if there's any new residents who want to be involved, we can shuffle some of these assignments and have other new volunteers, you know, take on some of this. I think that'll be the only thing that might change some of this, is if anyone reaches out and says, hey, I want to be involved. Have all content completed by September 24th. Yeah, I think this is just her timeline outline. So complete content by this date, trustees to review and approve by this date, and then get the quote from the printer and get the cost approved. So that just outlines all the steps.
Right.
So I think we're good there.
Okay, good.
And then the last thing here was, I think we already covered this.
Right.
Discussion of next steps for outbound township emails. So this was, the next steps are upload our contact list from our Excel file, send out a final email informing everyone on that list of what to expect.
And then
that's kind of like the old way. And I can do that once I align with Lindsay on what she wants to say in it. So update the list to constant contact, send out an email the old way, create our landing page where people can sign up and get it added to the website. I think those are kind of the most important steps.
Great.
And then kind of parallel to that, I will do some research on how neighboring communities are using their programs. And maybe come at our September meeting with kind of like a recap of what I find, to maybe determine how we feel we can use it.
Good. I'll send you Leslie's info.
Thank you.
Be very nice.
Right, I'll put my name on that one since I volunteered. So those are what I see about for our next steps. So final email to our list the old way so people know what to expect, get that list updated to constant contact, create our landing page to recruit and add new people, get that added on our website to really promote it. And then in parallel with that, I'll do research with other communities, find out how they use theirs and bring that to the September meeting.
Perfect. Good job. The best meeting I've had all day.
Probably me too.
I stuck with the agenda. Like that never happens. So yeah, real quick with Bob. He'll save me a call to you. And we have 4 minutes left. Bob, you had talked about doing something, collaborating with Harlem Township Forum with doing some sort of public event with like a meet and greet with the trustees. Are you still thinking that?
We would love to see a meet and greet. A memo was sent to all 3 trustees explaining how we felt it would be best done. So
maybe we just need to follow up with the trustees then.
I think you need to, it wouldn't be appropriate for me to discuss the memo. So I would think if you get in touch with either John or Adam or Dave, hopefully they'll respond.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay, thanks.
Thank you.
That saves one of my action items. Here. Okay, great. That's it.
All right. Well, then the only other agenda item is any additional comments.
I have none.
Okay. Well, then I guess we can adjourn.
Sounds good.
Bye.
Yeah.
I'll go stop the recording.
Bye.
I'll probably turn off all the mics.